Hi guys, I'm Chantel and welcome back to my channel. Now today I wanted to share a bunch of books that I want to read during fall. Now I do choose my monthly TBR from my TBR cart and different prompts that I have, so I'm always left with a variety of books each month, which I like. I like diversity, but I realized that lately I have been like intentionally picking books that I don't think I'm going to like. I don't know, just to push myself, just to maybe see if I'm going to be wrong. I don't really know the reasoning. But I've decided kind of like for this next season, I'm still going to be using my prompts and stuff, but I want to pick books that I'm like actually excited about. And I want a TBR that I'm actually looking forward to each month. So I went through and I picked 11 books off of my shelf, I think here, that I'm really excited about. Some of these I have hauled recently, some I haven't hauled yet. Yeah, some have been sitting on my shelf for a while. I'm gonna kind of just get into them. There is a variety here. I have some middle grade, I have some like Christian fiction, some suspense, some fantasy, some like maybe more like contemporary. Yeah, that's like mostly what it is here, I guess. And I am still going to choose my TBR from my TBR cart in September. I should be doing that probably in the next video after this, I think. And I'm going to be doing something different this month. So if you've been following for a number of months, I had my like prompt cards and that was fun. And then this last month I had done Bookopoly, which was also fun. And for September's TBR, I'm going to do something completely different. So watch for that. Okay, now let's get into the books. Let's start with the middle grade one. One of the books I really want to get to is book 3, Innkeeper of the Lost Cities. This is Everblaze. I read book 1 and 2, I think back in like February, March type time, and so it's been a long time since I read those first 2 books, and I really want to get onto book 3 already, so that is like high priority for me this fall. Let's just maybe stick with the middle grade here as well. I recently got this one. This is the Glasstown Game. This is a fictional story where Charlotte, Emily, Anne, and their brother Branwell have invented the game Glasstown, which I believe was actually something that they had actually invented, where their toy soldiers fight Napoleon and no one dies. So this is like a story based off of the game that they invented. I have read some Bronte books, Wuthering Heights, Jane Eyre. Maybe that's all? I'm not sure. Yeah, so I thought this would be a fun read. And I do believe this is middle grade. So, but it's a really thick middle grade book. There's like 500 and some pages, so yeah, I think this one will be interesting. And I just love the illustrations on the cover. I love that artwork. Oh, and speaking of illustrations, that's really cool too. Okay, next, let's see, where should we go from here? Let's kind of maybe stick in the middle grade. I recently got The Arithmetist. I haven't hauled this one yet, so that should be coming up soon. This is, I believe, considered a middle grade book. This is a Sanderson. I believe it's fantasy as well. I don't actually know anything about it other than like I want to read all of Sanderson's works. It kind of looks steampunky because of the cover, but I don't know if that's the case at all. And I kind of want to go into this blind, so yeah, I don't hear a ton about it, and I don't know if that's because Sanderson's audience mostly reads his other books, so they're like adults and they don't read a ton of middle grade, or I don't know if it's because this one's not that great. I'm not really sure, but I have gotten hooked on Sanderson this year and want to read all his stuff, so I figured why not you know, go into some of the easier stuff before getting into some of his longer, more difficult works. Okay, let's pick this one next. This is My Name is Leon. I saw Brie from Call Me After Coffee have this book on her TBR recently, and first of all, I just love the cover. I'm always drawn to all things floral, like my dress. I have like all the floral shirts and shorts and dresses, and so I was totally drawn to the cover. But then this is also about a foster family, and we are a foster family, so that just really drew me in, and I really want to read this one. Okay, next up, my cat like constantly paws at her water dish. That's what she's doing right now. So this is Incarceron. Holly from Lovely Day with Holly read this one like a few months ago, I think, and highly recommended it. And so I found it when I was thrifting recently, and I'm really intrigued. I really want to get onto the series. I have this one as well as book 2, which is Sapphic, I think it's called. I don't really know anything about it other than I do believe it is YA fantasy, and that's all I know going into it. But I mean, if like covers have anything to say, this one's going to be a good one. And let's see, where should we go from here? Okay, this is one I don't really know anything about. This was definitely not a cover buy. That cover kind of looks really weird. I recently got this one. Oh yes, because I read the back. I think this is Christian suspense, which might actually kind of be my favorite genre. Well, suspense. I like Christian suspense because I know it's not going to include some things, but sometimes Christian suspense can be very formulaic. And so I wanted to find more in the genre that I'd never heard of that was actually good. So I went and I looked through a ton of titles in this genre, and this one sounded interesting. So this is in 1857, a wagon train in Utah was assaulted by a group of militant Mormons calling themselves the Avenging Angels. 140 people were murdered, including unarmed men and women and children. That's my cat again. I don't know if I'm a crazy cat lady, but I'm a lady with a crazy cat. Anyway, so the Mountain Meadows Massacre remains controversial to this day, but the truth may be written on the skulls of the victims. And then a forensic artist is recruited to reconstruct the faces of recently unearthed victims, but then her work on the massacre takes a terrifying new aspect, and I think she kind of like gets hunted or something. I'm not sure, but it sounded interesting. So yeah, we'll see. I've never read anything by Carrie Stewart Parks, never heard of her, never heard of this book, so we'll see how it is. Speaking of Christian suspense, I recently got 2 Jamie Jo Wright books. First of all, these covers, again, I don't know, they're gorgeous. So this one is The Curse of Misty Wayfair. This one is about a woman who was left at an orphanage as a child, and she's searching for her mom, and the clues lead her to a mental asylum, and she uses her experience as a post-mortem photographer to gain access to the grounds. Oh, there's a guy in here. You guys know my... Okay. I don't mind romance. I'm happily married, but I do struggle when it's always the same. But anyway, maybe this one won't be. I've heard really good things about her writing. So, and then there's A Century Later. Okay, so I don't really know where this goes from there. I don't want to read the entire back because I don't like knowing a ton of information. But we'll see where this one goes. And then this other one is The Reckoning of Gossamer Pond. Oh my goodness, my cat. For over a century, the town of Gossamer Grove has thrived on its charm and Midwestern values, but Annalise Forsyth knows painful secrets, including her own, hover just beneath the pleasant facade. Yeah, once again, don't really want to read more, but the cover, the genre sounds interesting, so I want to read that one. Okay, next up is one I'm really excited about. This is The Oath. I recently got this when we did a tour, I guess maybe the right word, of a bunch of little free libraries. We drove around to like 9 free libraries around us, and I was so excited to find this one because I've been wanting to reread it. I want to reread it in the fall. So this is like a Christian, it's like a spiritual warfare type book, fiction story. I read this when I was probably 15, 16 years old, and I remember, I don't know if I read it in the fall or what, but it makes me think of fall because the entire time I was reading this book, I was burning a like apple cinnamon candle, and now every time I smell that like exact scent, it just takes me back to like my bedroom and reading this book and that time in my life. So I do make a like dehydrated apple and orange like potpourri that you put on the stove with water and some like cloves and cinnamon. So I'm thinking I'm going to like have that scent going while I reread this because I just think that would be a lot of fun to kind of just like really go back to high school in that way. I don't want to go back to high school in really any other way. Yeah, so I'm excited to reread The Oath. Jumping back to Christian fiction. So this is one that I found at a thrift store recently, and I haven't even hauled it yet. Synapse? Guys, I don't know. I can't read. We know this. I can't read aloud. I can't speak. I can read in my head. So this is 30 years in the future when AI is so advanced that humans live side by side with robots called artificials. Kestrel Hathaway must come to terms not just with what machines know, but what they believe. So this would be like Christian science fiction, I guess. I've never read anything in that like particular genre, but this is by Stephen James, who I recently shared a little bit about in a library haul. He has books kind of, I think they're more in the like Christian suspense genre. But yeah, so when I saw this one for $1, I was like, well, I'm gonna grab that and see how that is. And the very last book on this list, I got this one back in the winter and have been wanting to read it for so long, and for whatever reason, I just haven't. I did have it on, so every couple weeks I send out a newsletter sharing a bunch of bookish things, and I have my newsletter list making, the people on there can choose one of the books on my TBR for next month. So I think I had this one on my list, or maybe I have it on my list for September, because I'm so excited for it. This is A Curse So Dark and Lonely. So if you want to be part of my newsletter list, it's always linked in the description below. And once a month I will send out 4 options, and you can vote on which one of those 4 I should read in the next month. And yeah, last month the book that was chosen was A Gentleman in Moscow, and I think this was an option for my September TBR. But I haven't seen yet like which book is currently winning, if this one has been chosen or if it's one of the other 4 or 3. Anyway, so this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I don't really know much more than that. I think our main character has some kind of chronic illness, and I think that's a cool excuse me. I think that's a cool like addition. As someone with a bunch of diseases, it's kind of cool to, you know, have that connection with others. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about it other than people really like it. The cover's gorgeous, and I want to read it. So there we go. This is my stack. Let's see. Now it's the littler ones on the bottom. Let's see if I can do this without falling. Okay. So those are the books. They're gonna fall. Okay. Whew, we did it. These are the books I would like to get to this fall. So we got September, October, November, 3 months, plus all the other books that come up in my TBR cart. So yeah, at least I hope to get to like 3/4 of these. That would make me very happy. Let me know which one of these sounds the most interesting to you, if you've read any of them before, and which ones you think I would enjoy the most. Thanks for watching, guys.